Hey everyone, and welcome to REZOcast episode 54. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove and Triton, Mana, and our special guest this week, Destiny drummer extraordinaire and creator of this very own intro, DanDrumStone. Thank you for coming on the show, man. How has your week been?
Busy. I just got back from Colorado as well.
Oh, Quincy's. Yes, me too.
A wedding. Best man duties.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw those pictures. How's your trip, man?
It was awesome. It was so cool. Just a lot to catch up on though with this week with kids and all that stuff. It was our first time away from our kids, so it's kind of hard, but good.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I feel you. That's kind of how my week has been. It's just been, I feel like, out of the loop. Not so much with family because I was with them the whole time, but with Destiny, not really keeping up with what's going on in the world. I did manage to come back and start my Hunter a little bit. We were talking about it before the show. Got to play around with, what is it, Quick Fang? Is that the one? The sword that only the hunters get? Dude, oh, that thing's so much fun, especially if you're in Viz with just going in Viz and creeping up on people. It's so good. Hove, how's your week been, dude?
You're a dirt ball.
I know. Viz is so fun, though.
My week was really good until about a minute ago when you missed the best chance for the best alliteration. I am a big fan of alliteration. And you went Destiny drummer, and in my head, I was like, he's going to do it. Destiny drummer, DanDrumStone. That would have been perfect.
Oh, that would have been good. But I had to throw in there creator of our intro because he did do our intro, which is so awesome. I remember so many weeks ago. We've been doing this over a year now, so it was quite a long time ago. You won't hear it at the beginning of this podcast, like episode 1, because it took a few weeks for us to get in there and grab him. But Dan is someone who has worked on a lot of Destiny intro stuff or Destiny related drumming things. He's got Daddy Fat Snaps he's done tracks on, and Crucible Radio, some of those guys. And so just super glad to have you here, man, and all the stuff that you did. Hove, I'm sorry I didn't do it the way that you wanted to, though.
It's fine.
I apologize.
You disappoint me a lot. But my week's been really good. I actually got back into. You guys will be proud of me. I finally finished the raid yesterday.
Oh, I can't believe you haven't finished it yet.
Wait, was that your first time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice, yeah.
I'm not the farthest behind on all this rating stuff.
No, I pay more attention than you guys. I just don't actually do anything about it.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. That was the first time beginning to end.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I liked it the first time. I loved it. It's kind of what I said last week, and it has kind of echoed again, and I think it's become a big kind of movement through the community, is that I love the game, I love the things to do, I just don't, they don't give you anything here's why you should come play, we're going to give you this. But that's a whole nother topic. But no, I think the raid's great. I thought it was a ton of fun. We had a really fun group doing it. That's cool. So yeah, that was a good time.
Triton, you getting to play much with your hand in its condition it's in? How's the recovery coming?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I had a very productive week in Destiny. Got the Titan pretty much to 290 almost. Got through the story on the Warlock. Got the Warlock all the way up to 270. I think I got all 3 Nightfalls done last week, which I was pretty proud of. Won a mana raffle Sunday, so for Trials. Then won a TV raffle Monday for Trials. So it was a super Trials weekend for me, which is kind of rare. Still no raid attempts or completions, though, at all. But I did get my Hunter also to 300. So, I've been enjoying the game. Haven't quite got to that end game quite yet. Obviously, when you don't even land into the raid one time, you're probably not there. So, still trying to get to that point. But yeah, had a pretty good week.
We need to do a REZOcast raid.
We should do that because I seriously need to get the raid done.
And also, now that explains a lot, because I was like, why is Mana doing Trials with Triton? And then that makes sense. You had to. I get it.
You rigged it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
He
somehow is an inside man. He just appeared. I had to do it.
Well,
I just want to say, Triton killed it on the first Trials run. It was me, Mana, Triton, and Claw, and just the very first run, none of us had really done anything all together as a team, and it was flawless, complete. It was
super
so
smooth. I think our run just over the weekend was super smooth too.
Certain
parts was just yeah, it was just half the time it was either easy or super competitive. There's no middle ground, I swear, over this weekend.
Well, man, we've heard
on Sunday went on this huge streak, right? And then the final like 4 games, it was Nebula was with us. I forget who else, but it's just like we could not beat anyone for like 4 games in a row. We're like, what is this? Where did all these people come from?
Well, man, and now that we've heard about your low point of your week, playing with Triton, how's the rest of your week been?
Just played a copious amount of trials pretty much over the weekend. Did 1 raid. No Nightfall still.
I've done 1 Nightfall. It was to get...
3
what do you need to do the Nightfall for early? Don't you have to do something? Do it for some reason?
I need to do it, what's the sidearm? The exotic sidearm quest. That's why I need to do it.
Yeah, the Rat King. Rat King.
I need to do that too.
Oh, yeah, I still don't have that either.
Yeah. Hove, we
well, hey, guys.
Just, hey.
I'm down. Someone carry me.
This week's I don't know. This week would be tough to do it to get 5 minutes left, but
Really, is it a tough one? I should have done it last week.
It's just like it's that long strike. It's the one on Titan that you fight the Shrieker at the end. It just actually takes a long time to get there. So
Savathun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more of
you fight the
long
huge
strike.
cloister or whatever at then.
That's my favorite one, to turn the sound up all the way on and hear the dialogue and everything, really get into the story. It's so good. Dan, how are you enjoying Destiny Trials, the raid, any of it? What do you feel like has been your go-to thing?
Oh man, I've done the raid probably way too much. I love the raid with the right people. It goes, and it's all smooth. But Trials is that itch is back, like just to hop in there. This past weekend, I just got 1 night because being away, but it was a little rough for me this weekend because I didn't really know the map too well. I hadn't really gotten it into rotation, so. But 2 weeks ago, when it was the not countdown, what's the other one?
It was only survival for like an
hour or something.
hour.
You played it during the survival?
Yes, I got to play with the battle boxes. We went in there, and it was so fun. It was like, I can't wait for this weekend for it to come back. Like, I know some people are kind of worried, but I had a blast. Like,
I was having fun too, honestly. So many people dread survival, but like maybe, I mean, we were kind of stacked when we were playing, but instantly we're having a lot of fun. While Hobie and MTash were like, meh, and we were just like, it's fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm with you. I feel like survival has been really fun every time I've played it. I am worried about it like everybody else is, but I didn't even get a chance to play it when it was live for only that little bit of time. And so I'm excited to see it, come to fruition and actually get my hands on it for a little bit.
Yeah. When we were doing it, it just reminded me of like sweats and coordinated pushes. If you did it right, it was like a back and forth that was so fun. I'm
go over, wipe the people, and they're like, well, they're obviously spawning this way. Let's run back over there.
Go. Just push.
And you actually got time to use, like, I was able to use, like, snipers more, and then everything else more often than just, like...
Yeah.
Because Countdown, I wasn't really able to use heavy at all, especially if I'm playing with, like, a kill or someone because they just hog it, I swear.
Sounds like
Legion. Yeah, I compared Legion to you. Fusion rifle.
I think it's gotten worse.
I think I have. I think you're right. I felt bad for any time I go into quick play by myself and I'm just standing that they don't even have a chance to like run over there. I try to like give them a turn though. I'm not too abusive.
He knows the timing and everything now.
I'll be standing at it and I'll see his name coming across like the map and he'll get there and like look at me and go, "Oh, are you gonna take it?" And I'm like he's like wants me to go, "No, I'm not. I was holding it for you."
Okay,
that happened.
No. Okay,
I was standing there. You came up and you said, "Oh, do you want it? Yeah, you can have it. Go ahead." And I was like, "Yeah, I am taking it."
Around the corner and like I will come around to check, and if someone's there, I'll keep going. But I always check because it's important, like for people to check and make sure that the other team isn't going to grab it. Like you want to be there,
but like, you can see my name. You knew I was there.
No, I figured it out eventually. I'm not as aware as you, Hove.
I don't know. Like, I mean, anytime I could disagree with Hove, I'm going to take that opportunity. But I've played a fair amount of trials with you, and I really don't know. In fact, here's something. So I'm playing with Mana, and we're like 2 games in, and Mana just chimes in quickly. He's like, "Oh, by the way, a Q is just like Lego, so he's gonna peace out to get that power ammo. So just leave him alone." Like, I mean, at that point in time, when someone's calling you, you're not even there. I think there's some truth to it, right? I mean, there's got to be.
There's some truth to it. Yes, there is.
Lego, you might be a hunter at heart. That's very hunter mentality. Like
it is. I know. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, that's true. You also crouch and creep around corners very stealthily. You're not very much of a manly, strong Titan.
Invisibility does speak to my heart. It's just hard to get away from the 2 grenades that the Titan has, you know. So and the jump. I'm
drive me crazy. Why do Titans get 2 grenades and
for no reason? Like why?
Pulses. They always fly at me with 2 pulse grenades. I'm like, no, stop it.
Well, everybody seems to know what our classes are. Dan, what class do you like find yourself gravitating towards? Do you have a main you feel like you play?
Hunter. I don't know. The head's kind of chopped off.
He's got a hunter behind him right now.
Hold on. Here we go. There we go. So big on stream.
Yeah, but first character was a hunter. You know, when you Destiny 1, I got the game. I didn't really know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they kind of went through a little like this character is quick and nimble and blah blah blah. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
Is there a certain weapon that you gravitate towards too with that class?
In Destiny 1 it was last word and like hand cannons. I know. I love like that play style.
It's so
and
good.
sniping.
So fun.
But now I'm I hate to say it, but I'm like sidearm, shotgun,
meta
rifle.
Yes.
I know. I'm trash.
Don't worry.
But
I'm surprised. Last word. Did you guys see that Destiny Trials Report memories thing that would tell you like your most used weapons and everything?
Yeah.
Last word was like number 2 for me, and I didn't even start using last word until at least year 2. So I was surprised.
Yeah.
I need to check that out.
It's really cool. Like it shows you.
Fun.
It gives you your top teammates and your top rivals. And I found this out because very fittingly, for anyone who knows Papa Bear or mine and Papa Bear's friendship, he tweeted me his because I am his number 1 teammate and his number 1 rival.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible. He was like, this describes our relationship very well.
How is that possible with him being in like the UK?
That's
I mean, I know they
amazing.
switched it to card, but
It was early, right around the time I first joined Rezo about 2 years ago.
Okay.
We matched, I think, like twice in a weekend. And so he messaged me, even though he won. This is when I was still naive. And I thought he was actually just being nice, but it was just, oh, look, I beat a Rezo guy. GG. And so I messaged him. And, no, but I mean, obviously he turned out to be a good dude. But I thought that was really funny.
I'm actually surprised Hovey's not one of my top rivals either, because for a portion there, when the pool kind of got really low on people, Hovey and I found each other like 4 times over just one weekend.
Wow.
Like, he's not up there. Like I have rivals that only matched like 3 or 4 times. I'm pretty sure I matched Hovey at least like 6 times. I don't know. It's weird.
I need to go look that up for myself.
Yeah, do it.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, you've also got, for anybody who's listening on the podcast, he's also got you can see a drum set peeking out from behind him back there. And for anyone who's wondering, that is where his name originates from, DanDrumStone. He is a drummer. Tell us a little bit about what I know you do drumming streams that are really freaking awesome. That people need to go check out. If you're not following this guy, DanDrumStone, you just come and stream and he'll like take, requests for drum covers. It is amazing. It's so good. And he's so good. Tell us a little bit about like, how did you get into the Destiny community with drumming, and like, what do you do drumming wise, IRL and all that?
Yeah. How I got into the Destiny community with it, I discovered Twitch through Destiny. Like,
yes,
I think I don't know, a lot of the people I play with, same kind of thing. Like, I didn't really have any social games that I played. I played a lot of games, but Destiny was the first one where I like got engulfed with like the community, and like I just tried to eat up everything I could. And the drum stream thing, like what I do for a living is like a lot of studio recording. So people will send me their music, I record the drums and send it back all over like the internet. So I could come here and do it in my underwear is what I tell people.
That's so awesome.
It's so cool.
But I've been doing this since like 2009. So I've been doing it a long time. And I call it like my bat cave, but Twitch has like a creative side, and they're really kind of pushing that and like the music thing. And just I was in the directory one day for Destiny and I saw like creative pop up. I'm like, what is this? And I went into it and it was like a bunch of weird stuff, you know. Not gonna lie, I'm like, okay, like a guy dancing and weird stuff. And I was like, okay, you know, I just kind of brushed it off. But going back into it, I saw like there's some really talented musicians on there, you know, that sing and play and just do cool stuff. And I don't know, I'd like, I'll give this a go. I have all the stuff to kind of do it, you know. Yeah, I fired it up. It was a hard learning curve. Like, man and Hove, you guys know, like trying to focus on chat and like all this stuff. And it was at first, it was kind of like an overload. And then what I do in chat, people request songs. They're like, hey, you know, any song. I'm not really too particular unless it's like a crazy metal song. And then I just kind of jam along to it and we just kind of have a good time. But trying to like improvise over stuff and read chat and, you know, it was a big learning curve. But
absolutely.
It's turned into a lot of fun. Like it's like I call it my recess during the day. I come in, I'll record, you know, I call them like the worst songs ever because a lot of them are horrible. None of my clients are listening. But then like I'll stream. That's kind of like just it's so fun. I don't know. And then I teach. So I teach probably 45 to 50 students a week.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I do,
awesome.
like in the evenings and stuff. Yeah. So
that's so cool, man. And the stream setup is awesome for you guys who like you can like actually see, like he's got it set up really cool as far as like being able to see chat, but also like you can see like the full kit and everything. It just looks amazing. And it sounds good too, which is you have it just mixed, dialed in, which that's what you do for a living, and it shows through the stream. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, there's 16 microphones in here. So when they're
I had a lot.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's just a blast. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So
So tell us about some of your like Destiny resume, because I know you've done our intro and you've done a few other things with the community. What's some other stuff that you've worked on?
The first thing was the Rise Up thing with Bones. Because, you know, Bones did like the Crucible radio raps. He had like 3 of them. And I remember hearing him on the podcast and I was like, Bones is really talented. Like, he's really good at it. Yeah. But I'm like, the tracks that he's got, I'm like, oh, I can't. Like, the quality of them, they like bothered me, like, just from being an OCD musician. So I hit him up. I'm like, the next time you do something, just let me do the music. You know, you do your thing, but just trust me. And he's like, well, actually, we're trying to do like this collab with Duba and Snaps and all that. And I don't know, I worked on like the beat forever. And I did this other session with someone and I'm like, can we go out on a limb? Because it was the Drake song, One by One, or I think it's One by One. I can't remember. That's what it's based off of. That was like Bones is like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do. And so I kind of copied that a little bit, kind of note for note, and didn't really get too crazy because I'm like, you know, it's not my project, but I wanted at least the music to sound cool. And then I got together with this other engineer and producer, and I was like, hey, I want to do this, 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 and this. And he's so quick. Like, he's like, okay, cool, yeah, all right. And I was like, this is amazing. And then I sent it to Bones, and I'm like, just have an open mind, because if you listen to the Drake song and then Rise Up, it's like completely different. And he loved it, and it was cool. And then I did like your guys' podcast, the RNG cast. I did
nice, cool.
Them. And then we did like the Guardian Con anthem, which came together very quickly, like 2 weeks before Guardian.
Dang! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because we were all going to perform. And, you know, Dubo couldn't make it. So we were like, okay, we got to do a little bit. And, you know, they're all great rappers, but performing's a different thing, you know, like remembering lyrics and getting up there. So I was like, you guys could do as many as you want. And they're like, well, let's just keep it here so we don't over commit kind of. And I'm like, oh, we got to do like a anthem or something for Guardian Con. So that was really cool. That was really fun to do.
Dude, the live event of you guys performing there was so hype. And there were so many people too. We were sitting in like the third row or something like that while y'all were doing it. And I could see people around like start bobbing their heads and stuff. Because as soon as that beat came, we were like, oh, it sounds so good. It sounded so tight. We were worried too for like that kind of arena. Like just from a drumming perspective, I was like, this huge metal building. How's it going to sound live? You know, it's set up for the tournament and all this other stuff, and it sounded so good. It was awesome, man.
I got a shout out to those guys, like Jordan. He was like the entertainment coordinator. You know, Kevin and all those guys did the main event, but Jordan like took like the tournament that we watched and all the audio and setup. He was in charge of that. And months before, like he was on the ball, he's like, well, what are you gonna need? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like just a drum set. Just I've played so many gigs on crap, you know.
Yes,
and,
I know what
you mean. You show up, you're like, okay, it makes a sound. That's awesome. We're good. And he's like, no, give me what you need. And I'm like, okay. Like, you wanted sizes of the drums I play.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was, I showed up, I brought a snare and cymbals just in case, you know.
Yeah,
I really didn't know what to expect. And he had the exact kit that I have, just a different color.
That's awesome.
And like everything set up, and he's like, is everything okay? I'm like, man, I am so impressed. Like they take that really serious. So I can't wait to see what they're gonna do next year. Like just the level of professionalism was really cool.
They just tweeted out today there's gonna be the first info blast next week. They're already getting into it.
I saw that. So it'll be, I don't know. I was blown away by just how, because I was expecting just to show up and it'd be like, okay, we're all going to sit around and talk Destiny, which would have been cool. I would have been so excited. But they went all out. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, especially seeing what you were talking about, like people who like you weren't sure how they were going to do in a live setting versus like having pre-recorded, and everyone I felt like performed flawlessly, and it was really cool.
Yeah. I wish like Bones and Snaps were actually like real rappers. I mean, they are, but I mean like performing. And
I know
was that shade?
I know what I mean.
What a dig!
God, I wish I had some real rappers on stage with me.
GMing them like, right now.
Like I wish they performed more because they just stepped up and they did so good. It was so cool to see.
Yeah, it was really awesome. It did make me want to like have more tracks from you guys like all together as a collab, because that is so good.
I'm sure there'll be much to come, hopefully.
Well, my question quickly, you know, when you said you reached out to Bones about like if you do another project, like let me do the music, did you already know him at that point, or were you just like the random guy saying, hey, I want to do this?
No, well, I was in the Slack and just we knew each other from there, but yeah, he was like, okay, yeah, like I think he was pretty excited about it because I know they take their stuff very serious too, you know, like like just production value of everything. So I kind of wanted it to match, you know, their level of stuff. So I'm like, don't do a track, just no.
Yeah,
you know, if it's like mixing and mastering, if it's like already pre-recorded and then layering vocals over it, there's like you miss energy in the mix. So like, we have to do it right, and especially if it was like a collaboration, like that had to be special. So
yeah, we, you know, when I was going to say we take ours very seriously too, but mostly I just mean we show up and talk, and Lego takes it very seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like I'm the in between guy because I feel like CR really Crucible Radio is one of the podcasts that they just do such a good job, you know. And for me, that was one of the hard things about doing this podcast live is like I've become so meticulous over our own podcast to like, well, these parts have to work right, and there's some things I just have to let go, you know, being the size that we are and everything is just like, well, we'll just let it be like this. We can do it live. Yeah, no problem. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we had plans to eventually do it live, but we kind of got shoehorned into doing it one week, which is another story. And then we said, what the hell? We'll just stick with it.
Whatever. We'll do it. Well, jumping back to Destiny here, Dan, real quick, just to finish off getting to know you, what do you feel like is your place in Destiny that you love going to? You know, we talked about the raid, you love the raid, but you also have been feeling the itch for trials. Are you just all around, you like consuming all the content, or?
Yeah. The big thing for me when I really kind of got really into it, I think was the PvP aspect. And I'm not like the best. I'm like an old man, as they say. But I really got into like the sweat community, sort of. Like we did like the Scrim League, the Crucible Radio Scrim League, and like learning that side of it. Like I did Trials, and I'm like, this Trials is really fun, but it's like a whole nother level when it's just so like fast, and I love that. And I'm not like the best at all, but I love the challenge and like the teamwork with like a team. So to me, that's really love about Destiny, you know, is just that aspect of it. Like I don't know what the strategery, what was that George Bush from SNL? Like when he did strategery. But I like that. I hate like logging in and just mindlessly playing, you know, like, oh, I'm going to play Control for like 3 hours. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, what happened? Like I like to sit down and have a plan and work on getting better. That's a big thing for me.
I do pretty much everything mindlessly.
Well, even like the raid, like the other night we did it and we're like, okay, let's see how fast we can do it. You know, like I like that kind of stuff where, I don't know. It is fun some nights, I guess, to take it kind of silly or whatever. But when I don't get to play too much, so when I do, I'm like, all right, let's get to work.
Yeah.
In a fun way. I guess that sounds not fun, but
yeah. I think I know what you mean, and I feel like Hove has some to talk about as far as like, you know, where as far as like the draw for like logging in every day and like what it is that you want to play. But I think maybe we'll get there later on tonight, or do you want to hit it now, Hove?
I mean, I always want to hit it, but we can talk about that later.
Wait.
Yes! Yes!
Awesome.
And we've
we
just
need
now
him to
added
come back every week.
We've just now added a new permanent co-host.
Yep.
I'll just sit in the corner like
He's ready.
Ready.
Well, Dan, I
At
can
all
definitely
times.
appreciate wanting to jump on Destiny and plan things out, you know, if you only have X amount of time to do things. And, you know, we've talked a lot about the soundtrack of Destiny, not just Destiny 1, but Destiny 2, and just how awesome it is. So to have another musician on the show is pretty cool to talk about that. So if Bungie were to ever approach you and say, okay, Dan, we're going to let you record the soundtrack for any type of mode, whether it be story mission, a strike, a crucible, what would that be? What mode would you select? And what would be going on? What would you want to be happening visually for your music to support?
I kind of actually heard it in Destiny 2.
Okay.
My first playthrough, I did it all alone. You know, you log in and certain people are sending invites. You're like, no way. And I turned everything up really loud and just wanted to soak it all in. And the first time you encounter the hive, it's like that 9 Inch Nails, like just, that was what I was like, oh, this is like the hive. And then it made them sound like really creepy, you know, because the hive was, I guess they wanted it to be like kind of eerie. And I didn't get that from Destiny 1. It was like, okay, there's a wizard on the moon and you hear violins and you're like, oh, okay. They're weird. But you're in like that dark area and you're hearing like, it reminded me of Dead Space. First time I heard that. And like they were building on it slowly. And then like when it kicked in, it was like all electric and just, it was really good. That's what I wanted more of. And they kind of did it in Destiny 1. I can't remember where. I think it was in one of the raids.
Oh, nice.
Oryx. Like the Taken King kind of had a little more grunt to it as far as not like just all orchestral. Yeah. But I really like when the composers go where you don't think they're going to go, you know, because I think soundtrack wise, everyone thinks, okay, just the orchestra, cellos, you know, strings. But to bring back like 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, when he did that Facebook movie, can't think of what it's called right now, but that soundtrack was so eerie and ominous and weird. Like it was like the complete opposite of what people were expecting it to be. And I love that when you hear it on Titan, it's like, I'll remember that forever. You know, it's like the little things you remember. But yeah.
That's really cool. I love the missions where you go under too into like the underground levels of Titan 2. Even that strike we were talking about, what the Nightfall is, like just all the sounds and all the music that goes into that stuff with the hive just in general on Titan is awesome and eerie.
Well, I think most importantly, now I realize they're two completely different vibes for each song, but Dan, what is the better track? The tower music or the farm music?
Oh man. I want to say I've only been in the farm.
Yeah, see.
I keep on forgetting it's a thing.
What is the
once
farm?
you unlock the tower, you kind of the four farm is just kind of chilling there.
It has this very like longing, mellow sound. Like I don't know, it's really good. I do like the tower music a lot.
You feel a longing? Is that what you feel?
Yeah. It's so long.
It's fine Hove at the farm all by himself.
Just sitting in the middle listening to the music. No, I think they just both nailed it.
Petting a chicken.
The tower has
a Lego-sized chicken.
No, you got it wrong. I would definitely be petting a chicken-sized Lego.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, I lost my train of thought after that.
I think we all did after that.
The tower's like a very like uplifting, hopeful song because it's like the end. We made it back. But the farm is this very like longing, like everything fell apart, but like we're making do type. I don't know. It's really good. Nobody else knows it. Yeah.
It's fitting for sure. But see, the tower music for me is the one that like you don't expect it coming from the campaign. Like you kind of think that's it and it's over and the last cinematic is played, and then all of a sudden you load into the tower and you're like, what? I mean, what's that music? Where am I? And you're like, I can move around. This is a social space. What? Like I had no idea that was coming. And then that music with the kind of small strings come up. Like the typical what you were saying, you didn't want as much, but for that moment, it was just perfect. I was like, yes, this is it. And now every time
all I can think about now is a tiny little Lego running around real high pitch. Like real tiny.
I love the music in that last story mission, like when you're trying to fight, when like Holiday's bringing down those barriers and you're trying to get back to fight Gaul, and like you find out the other Guardians are there too. I mean, that got me so jazzed up the second time because you knew what to do. I think I hung out at the last barrier for no kidding, like 10 minutes to like help anyone who came through there, just because the music pumped me up, and I thought that's like kind of a cool setting. Like, yeah, we're all Guardians, we're fighting it back, and I was just like wasting power ammo left and right to kill like 2 red bars to let them through. It was pretty awesome. That was probably my favorite like moment / with the soundtrack, I think, for Destiny 2.
Soundtrack for me though was right after like the first mission. You lost your power, you're up in like the mountains, and you're on this ledge coming around the corner, and then a huge Cabal ship blasts over you, and then like just the music just explodes, and you're just like, you see like the last city in the background just burning. You're getting into this moment. You're like, those motherfuckers are gonna die. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna follow this weird falcon. I'm gonna come back with powers. So that part though, just all that music when you're just really like, it's like the hopeless. Like I'm just like, I'm human now. What can I do? How can I, come back? Do the way I was type music. And it was just like, I don't know. It was like touching my soul.
Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna top that for D3. Like I know that's way down the line, but that moment where you lose everything, like it's so different than any other moment in Destiny when you like your ghost tells you, if you die, I can't help you, sorry, and you're like, oh crap, there's these dogs coming after me and I don't know what I can do about it.
Just punch them. Just keep punching.
Well, I think that's a good time to transition into community questions as well.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just watching Triton come back.
Yeah, no, Triton's popping in and out. No worries.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we got a couple good questions here. We just had one in chat that I will ask while I'm pulling up the other ones. Matt Grundy 89. This one's for you, Dan. He wants to know, what is your favorite music moment in video games? And he said his is the Breaking Benjamin song in Halo 2.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
God, that was so good.
You're Pennsylvania boys. Breaking Benjamin. Oh man, that's a great question.
It is.
Zelda, Super Nintendo. Ooh. Zelda.
Interesting. Keep going.
I think like as far as like the 8-bit or not, that's not 8-bit, but old school wise, that's probably the first like theme that I'll never, everyone knows Zelda. But Half-Life, the first Half-Life, I think was my that was like my first shooter, but also like the production value of that game. The music was still a huge part of that game for me. So I'd say probably Half-Life, because I remember like all that stuff. I love that game. If you go back and listen
Half-Life.
to it, yeah,
Never.
It came out in like 97, I think, maybe, or 96.
That old? Holy crap.
Man, I wasn't even
remember-
born yet.
Yeah.
I remember people sneaking it into our like computers, like our school computers, like to try and install Half-Life to play like during breaks and stuff when they weren't supposed to and whatnot.
Yeah. Like I had a friend who burned it for me. Like I don't know how he had a burner back then. That must have been like crazy expensive.
Fancy.
But, yeah. But I remember that game. Probably music-wise meant a lot, but there's a lot of games. Like I'm a nerd when it comes to that stuff. Fallout, like that series, what they did with like just bringing the old school games in. And I remember playing the game just like whacking and hacking, smacking, like just singing like the whole time. So there's a lot. I don't know.
Echo the Dolphin.
One.
No,
Man,
I don't
there's
know. I don't even know what the music was like.
I was gonna say, how do you remember that?
Are you just calling out a random old game?
It probably had awesome
I couldn't
music.
beat those
It was about
games.
dolphins. They were hard.
They were hard. A lot of those old games
Yeah.
were super hard.
Yeah.
There was
DJ Boy, if you never played that.
What was
is that like a good game or is that like good music?
Kind of both. The music was cool. It was kind of like side-scrolling fighter, like Streets of Rage type of style,
Okay.
but a little bit more cartoony looking. You were this like kid on roller skates, and this other like dude who looked just like you but a different color. Like the bad guy that was like your twin steals your girlfriend, and you just like go around and like there's potholes and I don't know. It was a really fun game. You had one life. It was like 8 levels, but you died.
Wow.
You just went
one
back
life.
to the beginning.
Those
my
games were
goodness.
brutal.
One of
Very
the
stressful.
two of the games that stick out to me a lot, and they're like newer, and so they're like more fresh in my mind. I'm sure there's others, but all the Naughty Dog games, like The Last of Us, that like deep acoustic guitar that's kind of just playing throughout the entire experience, and then that trailer for The Last of Us 2. Oh my gosh! But then also the Uncharted 4 in particular. There's a scene where it's like they're like really playing on your emotions with the two of the characters just driving through a jungle kind of silently, and they just had an argument, and you're just like driving through, and the suspension is just kind of, they didn't get to finish the conversation, and the music takes over, and you're like, my emotions, what is going on? This video game is killing me.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Wilson in chat said Echo the Dolphin had great music.
Okay, told you.
Well, Hope, I have another one real quick from Matt Grundy. I happened to be in a stream earlier on today, and he wanted to ask this of all of us, but he happened to just be doing a little bit of playthrough in Destiny and asked us what we thought about exotic engrams and whether or not we would rather have, like, when a super chest opens, you get like, he used Icebreaker, for example. Would it be more exciting for you when all those things are happening and you pick something up that you actually get what you're going to get, as opposed to going to Rahul and decrypting? I thought so.
100%.
Yeah, we actually, I'm assuming you weren't there that week, not being a smartass. We actually had that exact conversation.
Oh, you did?
because-
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's great we get exotics from everywhere, but like, it's just, I'd much rather just get it and be excited.
Yeah. I'm in agreement.
Miss that feeling.
I know.
Just popping up, you're just like, I just got what?
Or you beat
Yeah,
the raid.
going
Unless it's like the
Yeah.
6 Stompies I've got in like Lucky Pants, I'd be like, goodness gracious. Like, at least it's like,
There's so many good questions. We're gonna be here forever.
I go back to like video game music though, like old time, like favorite
I'll go
stuff.
Battletoads.
I kind of
Yes.
want to. Battletoad was so hard, man. I'm pretty sure I put
my
out
gosh,
more.
so hard.
that soundtrack was so good when you
It
was
put
good.
there.
But yo, Metroid Prime for the GameCube, the surrounding music for the planets were so incredibly good. Like it was the one of my favorites that I still remember is the ice planet. I don't know what the names are and anything, but just roaming around like in the temples and stuff, just hearing that in the background, it just like it sounded magical, It's just like it was so good.
Yeah,
I
I have
don't
a nerd moment. I had this crappy TV that my grandparents gave me. It had like the knobs. It weighed like 200 pounds.
Yes.
But I played Mega Man X, and I remember
Mhm.
setting up like the tape machine and recording Mega Man X music. I just sit in the level and he'd be like, like I'd listen to it
That's amazing.
when I'd ride my bike around. So
Oh, that is incredible. I need to do that with some. I mean, well, it's so crazy that you like can do that now, like, and you couldn't do that before. Like you had to sit there and record video game music if you wanted to take it with you.
The speaker on the TV was like this big. It sounded horrible. It's the worst TV.
Oh, it's amazing.
All right, so we're gonna do a couple more in chat because we got a lot. Darth Loki, Dan, what is your favorite music to listen to / play?
Rock. I'd have to say rock. I mean, deep down, I love a lot of stuff, but rock is what kind of triggers the excitement.
Yeah, so, the groove.
Yeah, it's like the power and I'm a pretty chill dude, and I think if I didn't play drums, I'd probably be like very mean. So just getting to just play like that, it's good.
Nice.
All right, here's an interesting one. Botbuster, who also has a couple questions from Twitter, but he asked in chat, what is Dan and the cast's favorite movie because of the music? So I guess just kind of like favorite movie soundtrack?
I feel like I could guess Hove's, but I'm
good.
not sure.
You guess it, because then I can see if you're right, because I have no answer. Go, guess mine.
Wait, I can't remember the Tom Cruise movie that we were talking about the other day.
Collateral.
Collateral.
Oh,
yes.
I just love that one scene. That was awesome.
Oh, okay.
But actually, speaking of Tom Cruise, Top
Mine
Gun.
is Top Gun.
Yeah.
It is Mine's Top Gun.
It might be.
Mine's Men in Black. Men in Black. Here come. No one.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to sing it.
Yeah, I mean, we were waiting. I go.
Dude, Will Smith, man.
Yeah, I have to say the Matrix. The Matrix.
Ooh, the Matrix.
I got that from a friend in high school, and that was pretty cool. I don't know, as far as movie soundtracks go, the OG Matrix.
Man, I don't know.
It's tough not to love Star Wars, like especially like Phantom Menace. Like I don't even love Phantom Menace as a movie, but that Duel of
Fates is
dude. That's
so good.
Just like
Yes,
so good.
How about Lord of the Rings soundtrack?
Oh.
You know, when they have a slow motion pan over the whole fellowship before they reach Moria, and it's just like you just see everyone. They all have their like nice little, like, you know, they're not trying to pose, but they're looking around, and the camera's going past all of them as they're walking. It's just epic background music going on.
Yes.
I have another one that is less like Top Gun is because it's so iconic, I feel like. But another one that, even though I guess it's still kind of iconic and it's been used other places, but I feel like the soundtrack in Kill Bill was like another character. Like it was so good.
Yeah, Kill Bill had a good soundtrack.
That's true.
I love it when the soundtrack is a character in a movie or a game or whatever. Like it's like a piece, like it wouldn't be the same without it, you know?
Like the scene where they're walking all slow and there's the bum bum bum, like in Kill Bill. Like that's so good.
Baby Driver, I haven't seen it yet, but that's supposedly insane with the music.
Really? I haven't seen it yet either, and it's like on top of my list right now of things to see.
It's good.
Heard
It's
it's a
very
good time.
unique. Yeah, it's its own kind of thing. I liked it.
They're nice.
All right, Wilson 309. Do you guys think they will do something with the farm? It's kind of lonely there. Maybe events.
I hope.
I feel like they
really hope,
have
because-
to at some point, right?
Because they kind of pumped it up, and then you beat the campaign, and then they give you back the tower, and it's super good, and everyone's in there, and you're like, you kind of forget about the farm, you know? It's super easy to.
Yeah, because even though I feel like it was partly misdirection to keep you from the fact that you were going to get like a new tower, I'll actually be kind of pissed if they never do anything with it. Because listen, you built that whole big thing. I don't care if it took a day. That's a day that you could have been doing something else that we've asked for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually be pissed, but like that kind of doesn't make any sense to me. It's hard to really piss me off unless you're Triton.
It could be a DLC thing. The Cabal took our tower, and then next they're going for the farm.
They could just
back
take over
out.
the farm.
Yeah,
It's like, fine, we can't take the tower, so we're going to take over the farm.
We'll take the farm.
Hawthorne's just like, guys, help me, please. Like,
Well, how do you think like
I really like that place.
we're like, man, I wish people would go to the farm. How do you think the people who are still at the farm feel?
Yeah.
Like,
Who's still there? It's
Tyra, they're like, listen, yeah, we got this sweet new tower. It's big. Everyone has a really nice place, but we need you to chill here down on this farm.
Has Tyra's memory not come back yet? Like, is she still confused as like where to go? Because when you first talked to her, she's like, "I'm sorry, I feel like I know you, but I don't. And the light, I don't know. And it's like, does she still not remember? Like, hey, we were at the tower, or
she's creepy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, someone just.
I
said
feel like they'll go Eva Levante shader shop because everybody will visit the farm if she sells like shaders. That would be a good move for use if she goes shader shop there and she's alive. That'd be my guess.
Good idea.
It should be easy. Well, I won't say easy to do, but
They should have like a black market vendor that's like kind of like away from Zern, you know, but like he sells different things that's harder to get or something maybe. Or maybe like exotic engrams will only like we were talking about a couple weeks ago how we hope that when Zer comes back there might be like a caps, maybe just have like a little shady dude, maybe another like tentacle face guy just chilling down there. Because there's a basement underneath one of the houses that's kind of blocked off, you can't get down to it. But if they just open it up, there's like a black market, you know.
I would love that. I would love
like
for there just to be
shard
something.
pot.
Yeah.
What if they had events there? Like someone said in chat, I lost it. Spooky Halloween events or Christmas.
Yeah,
event?
cool. I'd visit it for an event. Yeah, like festival.
They could make it
Nice.
nighttime at the farm when you go there and make it.
That would be
scary.
creepy.
That would be creepy.
It's like
Haunted hayride in the
Haunted hayride.
the corn at the farm.
I love. Listen, that's my favorite time of year. Going to haunted houses is the best part of life, pretty much.
No, horror movies is the best part of
Listen,
Halloween.
Lego. We don't all watch horror movies. All right.
But you'll go to a haunted house? I
Horror.
can't even
I said
do that.
horror
I don't.
movies.
I'll watch
Haunted
it on
houses are the
screen.
best thing ever invented.
haunted houses are pretty fun. Haunted hayride
Lego likes Iron
legit
Fist,
scared me
so-
back in the day. Some of
There's
those guys
one-
running around with like the fake chainsaws, like without the chains and stuff. I used to be terrified because they would get up to you, like around my area at least.
There's
Can't
a
do
good
it.
one like up near Butler, Mana.
Mm.
That's it's a haunted hayride into a haunted house that's in the woods and then back.
What? Yo,
It's
that's
fantastic. Okay, off topic. Back to questions. Flash EFX wants to know what our favorite weapon is in D2 so far.
Prosecutor.
I gotta say Wardcliff. That's just so much fun to use.
It's really cool. Yeah.
there's no escaping it.
Yeah.
How do you
Once
pick one?
Once they get shot at, it's just you're dead.
I'd say
I'm gonna
last.
have to say, people are gonna hate me, man. Last Hope is just so fun
Yeah.
to use.
I'm with that too. That's my answer.
I'm the guy who does the little spin, turns invisible. And then
Yes.
they can't hit you
Yeah,
properly,
it
and you got
is.
the last hope in their face. I'm that guy. I can't help it.
All three of you guys going with Last Hope?
Yeah.
Man,
Triton, what was
bad
your
people.
Oh, I said prosecutor. I like the prosecutor.
prosecutor?
pay attention to him. He's
My
a host
favorite.
too.
Okay, my favorite moment in potentially my favorite moment in D2 so far is when we all got the prosecutor for the first time. It was me, Hove, Wilson, and Marcus, and like all of us got it and went for another trials run or something, or maybe we were playing later or something. And in the next round of trials, then that's what it was. We played a card and we like lost the first round, but we kept playing, so we didn't get flawless in our second card we did. And on the second card, we all had the prosecutor, and so we were all making jokes like, whenever somebody didn't get killed, like we died and we didn't kill them with the prosecutor, we were like, oh, there wasn't enough evidence, they were not prosecuted, and there's just all these like judgment jokes going on the entire
Hove is
trial.
denying this whole thing.
It was
He's subtly
so
denying
great.
this whole
Hove
thing.
hated every second of it.
No,
Me and
I'm saying
Mark-
I think that was in your head.
no, it
I-
was for sure.
the only thing
happening,
I
and it was
remember-
fabulous.
Is and Wilson just put it in chat. We would yell like prosecuted every time we'd kill someone with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that I can see happening.
Definitely, no one mentioned anything about evidence.
no, definitely they did.
There's evidence
For
of
sure.
your.
Actually, I think that's a leg. I can see Lego doing that.
I'm just telling all my own jokes.
I think he'd just be like, "We all did it."
Just yell objection.
Yes, exactly. Dan's in with
That
me.
might have happened actually. Objection may have happened. I think that one did.
Objection.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple from
Oh,
Bot.
origin story. Origin story. That's mine.
You not Last Hope?
No.
Oh, okay. Good story.
I love origin story is awesome whenever you're like nailing people with it and you get one kill and then the damage thing procs and then you just feel this confidence that like I got one kill, I can keep going, you know, and you just hold down the trigger and keep seeing how many you can get, and it doesn't even matter if you die at that point. You're like, I'm just trying to see how many people I can kill with one clip. It's awesome.
Wilson did point out objection and sustained definitely happened.
Sustained.
Yeah.
It still gets me.
I see evidence that you think it's funny, Lego. Botbuster7 For Dan, what is the best part and worst part about playing drum set for a living?
I think I really enjoy it. I don't know. I feel very lucky.
You can do it in your underwear?
Yeah.
See, that's what we have in common, except I don't do this for a living. You can drum in your underwear. I podcast in my underwear. It's like the same thing.
I stream in my underwear. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I turn off my camera every time I get up and go.
Yeah. I don't know. I love it. I feel like I'm still 12 years old, if that makes sense, when I go to work. Like it's just really fun. I really enjoy it. The bad side is getting old with it. Your joints and it's very physical after a while, because I play probably 8 hours a day, and just that constant shock and going up your arms and legs. If you're doing it right, if your technique's good, it's not too bad. But
you got to show off sometimes. So
yeah. And I feel it now. When I was younger and touring in the days, I used to play like just a gorilla, just playing as hard as I could, crazy. Now, if I do that the next day, I'm like, like Advil and that kind of thing. But.
Dude, packing up everything too and doing gigs like that whenever you're touring, it takes so much out of you to put up and tear down a drum set. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Especially after you've played like a really good show. You see the guitar players, they're like, okay, see ya. And you're like,
or vocalists, backup singers particularly. You're like, what? Get out. What
practically everyone else other than you. You just gotta back up and leave. You're just like, yeah, I'll just
see you in 2 hours. See you at dinner later.
Deep breath. Like, but I got a cart. I've had the same like kind of wheel cart.
Yeah.
That I stack everything. So I could do everything in 2 trips now. So
dude, I got it down to 1.
Nice.
It feels so good. It feels so good. It's stacked super high, but I got it.
Nice. Awesome.
Okay. One that wasn't technically, also there's a fire whistle going off. You can probably hear that. I'm sorry. One that wasn't technically asked, but it was brought up again on Twitter as a staple of REZOcast. I felt the need to ask it again.
Oh my gosh.
This one's from Rally Bubba 74. So Dan, when you hear the phrase, someone tells you to like eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
What does the bag look like in your mind? What kind of bag are all these dicks in?
Dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was maybe like a mesh bag. Like I'm picturing like a gym bag. I don't know why.
Oh.
Ew.
Gym bag.
I don't know.
A sweaty gym bag full of dicks.
Like a gross. Like those mesh bags.
Yeah.
That like.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Like, all their stuff in it, and you're like, man, I don't want to see that. I don't know.
Just
I still see a
throw my
burlap sack.
dicks in there and just toss them to the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Rally,
right, we got
just for you.
We got one more. You good with one more, Lego?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Now this one, I'm going to read this word for word, and then I'll explain why. Do Yins think we're going to get any time-gated exotics or quests for Vanilla D2 like Black Spindle? That was from Matt Grundy, and I was like, Yins? I was like, are you from Pittsburgh? And he is. But yeah, do we think we're going to get any time-gated quests or exotics like Black Spindle in Vanilla D2?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I
would be very disappointed if not.
Isn't that I don't know if it was one of you guys maybe, but somebody showed me that one Scion that's in the level where you have to like escape all the sun, like the sun beating down on you outside. If while you're out there, right before you go in the door, you hop up a couple platforms, you actually go into an area where there's a yellow bar Scion, and he doesn't look like any other Scion you encounter in the game. And some people believe that, so if you go up there and you see him and you kill him, it doesn't take you anywhere, but some people believe maybe that's a future thing where if you do that, maybe that will take you to an area of different types of Cabal, and maybe you get something there. So I've seen people talk about it, and I really do hope that that's something that they continue to do, because that was a pretty cool part of the Destiny 1.
That sounds amazing.
On Titan, there's a really buff Hive Knight.
Yes.
It takes actually a lot to kill him, like take him down, and you get nothing out of it. So like I was talking to a couple people, and I think maybe that's like he's just kind of there for now, but maybe like in the future they might include something like you take him out and then you have to do something else, it's a step. Because most of the time when you find someone buff, at least a chest spawns, or it's a part of a public event. This guy is super buff,
Well,
and it just kind of disappears.
actually, he is with the public event in a way because he comes on Titan and on the EDZ. That's where the War Dog comes, and that War Dog that's like the yellow bar one that's super
black
hard
and
to
yellow
kill.
one.
That's what comes, and it only happens whenever it's the what is it called, the flashpoint during that week. That's when those bosses spawn on that planet. Yeah, and or at least that's what I heard. and so because of that, people are thinking what you said, like maybe you still don't get anything for killing the War Dog or, that Hive Knight and whoever's on the other planets. And so maybe there is something there. But Triton, I didn't know about that guy you were talking about at all. That's
I didn't know that either. I might have to actually load up and
Triton
search for that
dropping
guy.
the knowledge.
Yeah, and my buddy went up there and killed him, and he got a legendary. So we immediately tried to replay this, thinking that like maybe he's just gonna drop legend. No, he just got
farm him.
It was a complete waste of another 20 minutes to get back there.
I do really hope that we do get things like Black Spindle, at least maybe not the gun itself. I'm not saying things like that, but things like how you did it, like the way you had to do something entirely different, and it was like this puzzle to do it, and it was actually very difficult. It actually, now that I'm talking about it, it reminds me of the Nightfall, how there's like a counter and you have so much time to do it, and I really like the improvements they've made to Nightfall. Like, it's actually fun to do. I don't want to, you have to have people to do it with you now, and because it's that difficult to do a lot of times. Not that you can't solo it, but it just makes it that fun aspect that doing Black Spindle is kind of involved in the Nightfall now. And so
I bet you I know who can solo it.
Yes, he's been trying to prestige solo it.
He did.
Actually.
Yes,
really?
Yeah, I think I saw a video like the last day or two. I think he soloed it.
Mr. Slayerage.
He prestige soloed this Nightfall. That's insane.
I think so.
And he two-manned the Leviathan.
Two-man Leviathan, yeah.
Which I can't even wrap my head around it. I mean, I saw it, but I still can't wrap my head around it.
Did you feel horrible after like just seeing the title? You're like,
yes.
It's like, it took me 2 hours with 5 other people, and yet
we glitched 8 people into it. It still took us 3 hours.
I haven't done the raid yet.
So that was the last question I have. I just want to say there was something. I hope something like that comes along. Some exotic quest or something that shows up, but there was something in the TWAB that Deej said that made me think of that type of thing.
Look at that segue. Let's talk about the TWAB. So with the TWAB, just kicking it off right off the bat, we've got the Iron Banner. We've got Lord Saladin actually returning, which I'm really curious if he's going to have the same voice as at the end of D1, the super, what was it? Who's the... I'm super deep voice guy. I don't know. But anyway,
James Earl Jones.
Not the. I was going for what's the Transformer who?
Optimus Prime.
He sounds like Optimus Prime. I don't know why.
Who does?
But yeah, I picture Saladin taking off his helmet and it's Optimus Prime. It's not, But yeah, Iron Banner's coming back, and we didn't get a preview of the weapons, I don't think, but we got the gear showing the full gear set off. What do you guys think about? There's a lot of stuff to talk about as far as what's it going to be. What are you guys excited about for it?
Best gear set yet.
It does look really good.
It does look cool, especially if the shaders are. I mean, presumably that we'll get shaders with this.
Totally not looking it up now.
Man, they're like samurai. They're sick.
Oh yeah, I see them right now. Yo, that is sick.
Yeah. Yes.
Man, his first reaction.
Live reaction.
Oh, that Warlock one.
Dan, what did you think about it?
I'm excited. That was my first kind of jump into PvP was Iron Banner. I was always like, in the DoD clan I was in, they're like, come on, we're playing all together. So I have Iron Banner has a special place in my heart, so I'm really glad that it's back. It's gonna be really cool.
It has been like this place that is easy for people who aren't super hardcore into PvP to come in and compete, and I wonder if it's gonna have that same effect now that it's 4v4. But it is control, all week. We don't have to put up with any other game types. It's just control, and so that's enticing for me. I'm like, I can play quick play and just play control, basically.
Maybe I feel like I have to put up with control. Maybe I wanted supremacy.
Maybe. Do you feel that way, Hove?
No,
Is that the way?
I don't at all.
I was really hopeful, and we still could get. I mean, they haven't revealed all the details. I was hopeful they maybe get like 1 or 2 maps that would just be, you know, specific to Iron Banner. And I'll be honest, because, you know, I think this has come out a little bit more maybe this week or a little bit of last week too. Like I was really hoping for not, I mean, I'm going to say 6s, but I think just kind of the variety the Crucible is or whatnot. But I was really hoping maybe 6s would come back. To me, as Dan mentioned, it's like a special place. Like I would always come back to Iron Banner with like the same 5 people that I wouldn't always play with otherwise. And maybe if the maps were different, I mean, because obviously if you're getting team fire by 6 Midas is way worse than 4.
Oh my God.
But if the maps were a little bit more conducive of like 6's play, I think that would have been awesome. I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to probably have a good time. I'm glad it's Control. But I think having 6 people, different maps, that would be something I would look forward to even more once a month if it was, if it kind of brought about a different game type or maybe allowed more people. But still look at the armor set's awesome. Probably going to get shaders. I'm sure the weapons are cool. So.
Yeah, I don't. I definitely don't expect a new map with it, just because I feel like that would be too much. Not too much for us, but like that's more than I would expect from Bungie.
I agree.
But I also wouldn't be totally surprised because I mean, the other things that they've released, a new map came with Trials. Technically, a new map came with the raid. This is like the 3rd end game type of, you know, additional content. So I mean, I wouldn't be totally surprised.
I wouldn't be against if they keep on doing that sort of thing.
Right.
I think that's pretty cool.
Now, that actually completely has nothing to do with the 12 or anything, but what would you guys prefer? Every DLC you get maybe 2 or 3 maps, or maybe like every month, every 2 months, every time they add something, we just get a map. Then the next month, a map. And then do you know what I mean?
That one. The last part.
But it's still, it's the same, say it turns out to be the same amount of maps over a certain amount of time.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm pretty easy both. I feel like I like being drip fed more than just, oh, here's a bunch of stuff. Like, if they consistently had small new things, like they've kind of been doing, like with Trials, you know, getting a new map. And then once, when we hit the raid, then we are actually able to do the raid. And now, you know, potentially we could get one with Iron Banner. So I feel like I like that system.
Yeah. I mean, there's precedent for it. I feel like it would be a lot. I'm not expecting it, but like I said, there's precedent with the other new things they brought out.
Yeah, I think I think if it had purpose like it does now, like you were describing, Trials first comes up, new map. Raid comes up, specific kind of like raid theme map. If it's an Iron Banner, like we have Volstock, right? But what if that was the Iron Banner map? If we didn't have that in rotation, that would be cool. Or I mean, and this is probably really reaching, but like what if Faction Wars, the winner also got like that Crucible map, like Dead Orbit's map was out or something like that. I think that'd be extra cool. Probably not feasible. But things like that had a purpose to it, I think I'd be really receptive to that, like over time, rather than just here's DLC, so here's your 3 theme maps or new maps or whatever.
That would be cool if we got like a Dead Orbit theme, new Monarchy themes, and all that. Maybe like their hideouts or like their like home base, and it's an actual map that you can. That'd be pretty neat.
Did they say if the lady
Aphrodite?
They don't mention her.
Oh yeah.
They don't mention her. You think we're gonna get a Saladin cutscene like we got with Aphrodite and Rise of Iron?
Because I liked her. She was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see more of her in the future.
Yeah, we talked about that when it happened. It was kind of weird. Like she just showed up and was like, "Oh hey, I'm back. Go do Iron Man."
What I miss?
Yeah, if she does come back, I'd like to see some story, like explanation, other than just, you know, in the Grimoire, you know, now that D2 is so different, you know, maybe we'll actually get reasons for these people coming back. We didn't really with the factions, but at least they gave us some dialogue prompt, which I really appreciated for the factions. Like I actually thought about what they had to say when I first talked to them. I was like, oh, I thought I agreed with Dead Orbit, but maybe I don't. I'm going to go talk to this other guy.
I'm hoping for like a cutscene with like progression on how like the Iron Lords, like after, you know, Rise of Iron and all that, you know, how like the Iron Lords came back, their thing now, Felwinter's Peak's back up and running. I want to see maybe it's overthinking too much hope. Maybe just like go back to Felwinter's Peak, just that area for Iron Banner, and to see maybe like NPC guardians walking around dressed up, fully decked out in like Iron Lord gear and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that would be cool.
You know, because they're recruiting it. Maybe not recruiting, but you know, Iron Lords are coming back up. They're becoming a thing again. I don't know. It's just, I think it'd be cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
The thing though with that is we already have the farm, which is a place that nobody's going to. If they made another social space, it'd be like, what?
Give the farm to the Iron Lords. Have them camp around.
There is going to be another social space.
Maybe we can have some armored chickens running around.
See, I don't think it's going to be the farm because wolves and chickens.
Oh, there we go.
It would be kind of funny to see though. They just like run around.
I'd like to see a wolf chasing around a tiny little Lego. They do say in the Iron Banner thing that power level again will not be enabled, just like Trials.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting that change.
I'll let you do the one that has the asterisk next to it, Lego, because I know you were excited about that. But I also think it's interesting. As we were talking about this, someone mentioned weapons. They don't say anything about weapons. There's no weapons.
I'm sure they're coming.
I don't know.
But you don't think so? I think they're coming, and it gets me really excited seeing how the armor is different. Like New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, all the faction stuff. It looked, very similar to some of the planetary armor sets. But the Iron Banner armor set is completely different. If they do what they did with the weapons from Rise of Iron, how the Iron Banner stuff was like completely redone. If they do that for this Iron Banner, it's completely different with like really awesome sound design. It's gonna be. I don't think there's
gonna be any.
You don't?
I don't know. Like for the faction rally, they showed all the weapons. They talked about all the weapons. Here, they specifically have a section that says what's in it for you. It talks about tokens. It talks about milestones, and it says brand new armor.
I don't know. I'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like they have to, but
yeah. I want my cool weapons that sound like stable guns.
Yeah, just give me a clever dragon.
maybe the weapons they did a really good job making them super sick, and they kind of want to keep them hidden until.
I think so. I'm on Mana's side. That's what I think.
Make pulse rifles better while we're at it. Anyways.
Maybe like the auto rifle is actually a small wolf that you hold in your hand. That
small wolf.
Like the tail is like the stalk.
What's he do? Like shit on people? What? Wenny made a good point. He said they didn't announce Trials weapons either.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thank you, Winnie. I like how you like had this sigh of disappointment that that Winnie said it.
Thank you, everyone that I could. Yeah.
So yes, Hove did mention there was one other thing about Iron Banner. There will be daily milestones, but also seasonal milestones with a little asterisk next to it. And then later on in the TWAB, they announced that, what are Destiny seasons, and saying they're going to tell us more about it at TwitchCon on October 20th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. But they put all these questions like, what do seasons mean in Destiny 2? What will change from season to season? How many seasons can we expect? And when does season 2 begin? And I don't know, like, what does all this mean? What do you guys interpret this as?
Comp, right? I need ranks, I need a purpose to go back into comp and not quick play.
Yeah, I feel like unless it's, maybe this is being negative, but I feel like unless it's resetting something like comp, like stats or ranks, I feel like all it is like a cheap way to kind of add fake content. Like, well, we're going to reset you back to this because it's the new season, regrind it, like an artificial way to make you do things again.
Yeah, that's kind of what my interpretation of it is right now. Like, I want it to mean ranked and comp, but I don't have my hopes up just because... Oh, what?
I said neither do I. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, and the reason why is because of the way that Deej phrases his last thing at the end of the TWAB. It says... he gives basically the, hey, here's a little story about this guy I used to play Destiny with, and Destiny is really about playing with other people. He says, my challenge to every Guardian is to look to the human element in Destiny 2 to fuel your appetite for ultimate replayability. The ultimate loot is the friendships that can grow out of a game like this. And I feel like he's harping on the fact that it's about people, and not necessarily what you're going back to the game for, but for the people. And I don't know, everything that Bungie says is anti-rank to me, and so I'm not expecting it for that reason, but I want it. Please be some sort of progression system that I can, play Clash or play,
There's
quick
no
play.
carrot on the stick that's hard to
get. Exactly. And I feel like this is something that you wanted to dive in deeper with Hove, because we were talking about it previously.
He posted it in the chat this week, right? So I mean, like, you know, Hove posted in our chat to look at Data's video about the end game content. So we took a look at it, and he has a lot of great points in there. And I think one of the things that we're kind of brushing up against is it seems like being a good community is first and foremost, and not having toxicity in the community is something they really want to keep out. And their way of doing that, more or less in the video, is to not have things like ranks playlists, to not have things like super grindy, only one good weapon roll so you play a strike 20 times. Those are the things they wanted to stay away from. You know, it's kind of becoming a prevailing thought for a lot of people now. So I don't know if that's something that, you know, Hove wanted to brush up on or not, but I think that's.
I mean, since we kind of got into it, you know, quickly, I'll just give you my opinion, because we still have more in the TWAB, and this could be a long topic. But I guess my big thing is, you know, we all know, we've talked about it for a long time, and I think Destiny 2 even does it more, is that they're catering to the more casual gaming audience of theirs, which I am 100% understanding of. You know, it probably makes up 60%, 70%, maybe more of their sales, of their audience. So I get that. I guess my thing is, and I also get the whole, you know, toxicity thing, especially recently with, what's his name, Jeff Kaplan from Blizzard, talking about how toxicity in their community has altered the way they do updates because of how toxic things get in their community.
In Overwatch?
Yeah, in Overwatch, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I get it, but I don't see a reason why there can't be both. Like right now, you have Destiny 2. It has all this stuff that's very casual friendly, and all of the raid and all this stuff is, you know, for the most part, like we've said, it's so much easier to get all of the raid gear, all of the trials gear, all of everything, right? So it's tons of stuff for a casual gamer, and that's the point. We may blow through it, but a casual person who has better things to do, I guess, than we do, that takes longer.
I think they just need to accept that there's always going to be that toxic side, and they should just accept it and then add just what the people are just like wanting. You know, look back on Halo when they had social play, and then they had the ranked, you know?
Yeah.
And that just worked. That went back and forth. They kept both sides of the, you know, spectrum there. It worked really well. Yeah. And then with Destiny, they could have that too. And then there'd be PvE. Then there, like you said, the raid and, you know, nightfalls and stuff like that. They can have so many different aspects still, like, kind of doing its own thing. I feel like they have the opportunity to make it really good.
Yeah, and they're already separating them. I mean, there's supposed to be a competitive and a quick play. So if you're a casual, clearly you don't step into the I play all the time mode. And in my point, we talked about it in the Crucible when I mentioned sixes. Like, I don't know why you changed the Crucible, what seems to cater more towards a competitive environment with, you know, no ability spam, where like team fire is more important than fours, and then not do that, because if I'm casual, I don't want to come in here by myself and like get team fired all the time. I don't. So why change it if you're not going to go all the way? That's my point.
And like I was saying, like, they have all this stuff that right now is plenty of stuff for a casual, less hardcore person to do. So now just add something that is, maybe it's ridiculous, but it's not anything that really matters to the game. But someone who wants to get it can grind and do whatever the hell you ask them to do to get it. Just add something.
I think I fall like in line with everything you guys are saying, especially like the reasons to go back for things. I think are like, we've talked a lot about them. We talked about a lot of different ways that they could make this better in D2, like strike specific loot or certain places you can only get certain things, making things like exclusive to those who are able to just do this thing, you know, even though it's really hard. Like, if you do this, you get this kind of gear. Those are all things that are like exclusive and, you know, make you go do those things. But I think they bring you back to the game for certain reasons. And so like, I think that I'm on the same page as you guys. And as far as like the rank stuff goes, like, I would really love to see those things as well. One thing that kind of gives me like hope and all of that, because I want a reason to go back. Like, a rank would be awesome for me to go back and grind, to be able to like see improvement other than just like, I have these guns, there's no random rolls anymore, so there's nothing really for me to go after. Maybe like what gives me hope is that seeing the way that D1 changed and knowing the way that D2 has been targeting like a certain demographic and making sure everyone is not, everyone's enjoying the game from the get-go, the casual and competitive, because we all enjoy it. Like from the beginning, it's like, oh wow, this is awesome, and then the people who are really grinding it are going to get to this dead halt quicker than those who aren't, but those who aren't are satisfied with the game as a whole if you're just a casual. And so maybe like there's this period of this is casual Destiny, and then when the first expansion pack hits, these are the people who are staying in for the long haul, and then it becomes like for those in it for the grind, kind of thing. Maybe, potentially. I don't know, because I just see the way that Destiny evolved over 3 years and how D2 kind of took a step back in a lot of ways while taking tons of steps forwards in different ways. But as far as like stuff to grind for, it feels like it took a step back. And so maybe in the long haul, we will see a different kind of grind than at the beginning of D2. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I think I would like to think that, but you also have to look at it from the same way that, they look at making the sales now. They still need to sell DLCs too.
Mm-hmm.
To casual, to still their big part of their audience. So, but I'm curious, Dan, what, like, as someone, you said when you get on, you like to get on with, hey, I want to do this, I want to get this done. You know, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that there needs to be more reason to come back, more things to go after, or are you kind of happy with it?
It was, I don't know, probably week 2 of D2. I did kind of feel like I got great weapons, I'm good. Like there wasn't that desire to get like a certain gun. That was different. But do you guys remember? I don't know if they're doing it right now, but do you remember the combat rating system? Like if you went on to Bungie.net, like from D1, are they doing that right now?
Yeah,
like
I think the stats are way different.
Actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. If so,
you can't look at your stats on the app. I don't think it's not available.
Yeah, because I remember when that came up in like the whole ELO or LO. I think like the Destiny community right now, it's established and it's a pretty positive community. If they did incorporate like a competitive mode, yes, there will be certain people that come in and muck it up a bit, but I think overall, if they went like kind of like the Overwatch route, which I'm kind of getting that vibe, they're working with Blizzard. It just seems like
it does
they're bouncing ideas. And if they did like went off that combat number, or like you visually see it in your emblem, or, give you kind of I hate to say like a Call of Duty prestige thing, but that I would like to see, like I play to get better, I'm still not good, but when I get on, that's like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this weapon. I'm going to try it at this range. And that would be the carrot on the stick for me. I don't need a gun. And if they, every time, let's say you prestige or whatever, do like Overwatch, you get a chance for crazy emotes or skins or like
give me like some sort of bragging rights to grind for, that I can kind of flaunt.
Even something as simple, and this isn't, an original idea or anything, but you were saying like the prestige and everything, even if it's something as simple as almost like an ornament or a shader, maybe when you get 1,000 kills with this gun, you get one that just makes the whole gun like bronze, then 5,000 silver, 10,000 gold, whatever, and it just makes the gun that like shiny color or whatever.
Or like the what are those effects that are over your head or something?
Like
like every prestige for that season, you get another one you can choose. You can choose to actually put it on if you want. Say like what is it? The raid or no, going flawless. There's like kind of like that blue aura, like maybe one's just like flaming helmet, or the other one like just silly things.
It goes back to the Halo stuff.
Then maybe like just a random like rainbow with like pot of gold on your shoulders. I don't know. It's just something silly to make you grind for that makes you want to come back.
And it seems so easy.
Like
I don't know about the coding aspect, but
or like he was saying the emblem. Have like a really cool emblem. There's like, yo, that's a prestige 7. This kid no-lifed forever to get this. This guy's the real deal.
Well, like that. You can't have it both ways in the game. I don't feel like you can come out and sometimes say like, we want everyone to feel legend. We want you to see somebody and be like, oh, where'd he get this gun? Where'd he get this shader? When if you're taking away ways for that to happen, and especially distinct ways,
that's
like
a good point.
I don't think you can have this like be customizable, be yourself, shade different things, and not have a few items in there that are harder to get to have shade, even if it's cosmetic. Like we're all mostly mentioning cosmetic things or a gun after so much grinding or like an emblem. Like those are the types of things that I feel like they want you to have. They want you to see a Guardian with a certain emblem. Maybe you say, where'd you get that? And you're like, oh, that comes at the 25th public event heroic or something like, because that they do count that. I mean, you can't do it both ways. You can't say we want everyone not to feel left out and we want everyone to see somebody else and say, where'd you get that? I want to strive for that, because it doesn't really exist.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But like,
look.
God.
Well, I was gonna say, like, at the end of, Destiny 1, like, I still played a lot, and it's kind of what like Deej mentioned in the TWAB. I think he's just trying to settle down, maybe remind people right now that are like, why am I playing? There's nothing. I think he's just trying to say, like, we every time at the end of D1, I remember I'd be sitting at home and I'm like, my friends are probably on. They're probably like in orbit. I'm picturing like the people that I play with just like, oh, like no one's on. So I'm like, oh, I just want to go. Like, you do create relationships with this game. And I think first and foremost, that is like why we're playing deep down. The guns are a perk and it is cool to get, but I think if guns or something like that, if they did do a rank thing, I really don't think people would play it for that. I don't know. I don't get that vibe. And even the guns, they're so different now. I don't think there would be that gun that would, make everyone go crazy. I think they're still trying to keep that, like, you just play together and kind of vibe. I don't know.
And I think, like, I appreciate what Deej is saying, like, in that sentiment. And I definitely have those feelings too. Like, Destiny is so much more fun whenever I play with people, and Destiny is the first, like we talked about at the beginning, I didn't even know what Twitch was before Destiny. Like, it brought us into this social world. And so I appreciate what he's saying in that way, but at the same time, like, from a gaming critique, like for D1, like, Rumble was the thing that I would always go and play, and there was no ranked or anything. I just loved Rumble. Like, that was just my thing. And now that I don't have like my thing in D2 and there's nothing else for me to go for, I kind of feel like sometimes like, well, what, I could just go play quick play, and it is fun once I get in or once I jump in with friends. There's just, before, to bring people into the social realm, there was probably something you were wanting to do or something you were after. And while there is like trials in the raid, there isn't like gear that I'm like, oh, I really want this thing or that thing that you can only get from this. For some reason, that draw just isn't there with D2, and it's hard for me to put my finger on what it is, and so that statement from Deej almost kind of stings rather than is like yeah, you're right, like, it is about playing with friends, because I do agree with him, I do feel that way, but because of the lack of like specific things to go and do, I don't know, I just, the statement hits me in a different way for some reason.
And we're all D1 players, right? I mean, like, we're carrying friendships forward into a game. If you're a new player and the kind of time you spend in the game is not a lot of times. I would think it'd be harder to make friends if you don't, like you're saying, Lego, that's what you did. You went together to go from 29 to 30 in D1 vanilla. Maybe it doesn't exist right now. I don't know. We all have friends.
I think the one thing, if they stick with that, and this don't take this as like seriously and as threatening as it probably sounds, but like the one thing they should be careful with like an attitude like that is that, yes, it's about playing with friends. We have a great community. We've established a lot of friendships, but they're not specific to Destiny. Like, people can still go together and play a different game if they don't have a reason to come back to this one.
Yeah.
That was Overwatch for like a lot of the people that I played with. It was
it's
good
true.
Point. Absolutely.
And like I said, I don't mean that as like you guys better straighten up or we're leaving. But like, yeah, like there's a lot of people who made a lot of friendships, but a lot of us play PUBG together sometimes. A lot of us play
A lot
Overwatch.
of us are taking those friendships to other games now.
Yeah. And
all that I said too, I want to like make sure it's not like I'm like completely spent right now, like on Destiny.
Right.
Like, I'm still coming back, and there's like, for me, like Destiny's still like my main game that I'm always like, oh, I just want to go. And like right now it's like shaders and making my alts look good. Like I don't have any good gear like that. And so I'm like hunting, good gear. There's just not a specific thing that I like, oh, I want to get this because it comes from here, like for these characters. That's my only real complaint. And so like I still like am like loving, like just like I said, going into quick play and just playing. It's just not my initial reaction is like, oh, I should go to quick play because of this. It's just like, well, I'll just go to quick play now. And then once I'm doing it, I like really enjoy doing it. I had so much fun doing it. It's just like getting there, the motivation to do it.
And I know they've come flat out and said during worst content droughts, like, listen, we don't expect you to play this game all the time. Go play other games. And I get that. Right. But it's only been out a month. Like, that shouldn't be happening already.
Mm-hmm. But they are giving us, like with Iron Banner coming out, like there's stuff that keeps us pulling back. And so that's like the positive side of all of this, I think, is that, we had Faction Wars and then we had Iron Banner, and it feels like it's coming at a quicker pace than it did in D1. Yeah. Like in D1, it was like, oh gosh, where are the things,
We're also like playing Destiny again. Like, I mean, even though, I think there's a lot of credence to the fact that there's not the end game grind that there was. I think that's clearly proven. But we're also playing Destiny for, year 4, whatever this is now, and the gunplay and everything else. Like, you're not really in all the ways experiencing something different. And we knew if you were a D1 player, you had a better idea of how to get to 300 or 305 than somebody else. I mean, I literally have a guy living with me who's never played Destiny 1. He did not know anything when he's exploring the game. He deleted like the first 5 legendaries he got if they weren't better than blues. Like, it's taking him a lot longer, whereas like we would not have presumably done that. But I agree with Dan's point, because I think guided games is kind of the concept of the community made manifest for us to experience, because they threw it back at us like, hey, you're such a great community, do these things with other people. But to Hope's point, like, you have to have a reason to like cultivate all these people together, because we're only in year 3 or 4 of Destiny, of a 10-year experience. If it goes down a path like this, we'll be in year 9 of Destiny still playing Destiny, right? So it's not going to be new. Maybe the first time you do the story's great, but I mean, they have to introduce something and take that risk. I think we've all kind of brushed upon it, and I think maybe Dan hit it the most precise. Like, I don't think adding a ranked playlist like kills your community. Like, I don't think doing some of these things, you're still going to want to be there for your friends. Chasing a gun isn't chasing off a million people. I mean, there has to be like a little bit of risk taking, or I don't know, but I just
trust. Yeah.
Outside of ranked, I think the biggest thing, and I get that it was probably done from a balancing standpoint. That's a different story, because it also goes to what Triton was saying. What do you need to make everything so balanced for if it's not going to be some sort of competitive? But the biggest thing that I think is missing, that unless they greatly expand and change the mod system, I think the biggest mistake they made was taking away random rolls on weapons and armor. Like I said, balance-wise, I get it, but just think like, oh, this Last Hope's good, but with these perks it's better. Like, how much... Like, that was so much of what people played.
It reduces the grind significantly.
Significantly. There's like no grind for that stuff.
Like you said, balance-wise, also I'm pretty sure buffing or nerfing-wise, like, like it makes it quicker because it's its own individual thing instead of a whole group of weapons. But yeah, it really does significantly decreases, because like you got it now. You're never going to get anything different, Just tuck that away in your vault, go for the next weapon. And at this point, I might have almost every single weapon so far.
Yep.
And it's just like, I use them. I'm just like, this one's not good, tuck it away. This one's decent. I might, use that. And now it's just kind of like, well, I got everything. So I'm just going to just jump on here and there and I guess play with friends.
And I was all for it when they announced mods, because I kind of thought it was going to be more like, here's your base weapon stats, and it wouldn't have any perk nodes. It would have just like mods, and you would find extended mag, hand-laid stock, whatever it may be, like that type of thing.
A bunch of mods,
yeah. And it's not like, let's be honest, like the mods are very underwhelming from Luke Smith's thing. Hey, what makes that 10th better devil better than the first one? Right now, nothing.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean that I definitely feel that too. Like right now, I'm wishing that I had that grind to go in and get these other things. But that being said, I also haven't tried out every one of these legendaries that I have. Like there's so many, that I haven't tried out, and it's been fun going through all my alts as I'm like swapping through weapons, just being like, oh, let's try this one, regardless of whether the internet says it's bad or not, because there are a lot of different guns. But I do miss that grind, like you were saying, Hove, and I do wish that the mod system was different. I think that's something that Destiny Bungie has introduced this year, and it's like, let's see how they're going to grow that. I wish it was perfected at this point, but like it sucks to see for weapons in particular, there's no really anything like it. The gear affects the weapon sometimes, the gear mods do, but the weapon mods themselves are strictly for power. That's all that they do.
And if we're going to have a set things on the weapons, then I want to see a bigger tree of different things you can choose, and not just a couple things that are already chosen for
and
you.
The last thing is not even choose. It's
like 3, 2, 1. Even have it there.
I've said that some of them are so stupid. Oh, this has extended mag. No, it fucking doesn't.
Yeah.
That's just how many
I want to be able to choose a perk that actually makes a big difference. Say like a hand cannon. I want like a mod to where okay, it comes in, it's a slow firing, it hits really hard. Or maybe like something that changes the firing rate, like you can actually feel it, or like range significantly versus you know what I'm talking about? Just something that switches things up.
And that could even go into, hey, maybe there's 5 mods that are available for this weapon. You get 1,000 kills with that weapon, you get access to 1 mod, blah blah blah. That also keeps the grind.
Or like a slot.
Yeah.
Like you open up a slot.
Yes.
And weapons are at the forefront. Yeah. I think weapons are the obvious one, but even look at armor. You get the armor piece once, you're never going to get anything different on that armor piece.
Do they ever have anything different? Is all armor pieces the same too?
The one thing with armor though,
I don't can get with like a mod that comes with it, right? Like sometimes we'll get lucky and it will come with already like a kinetic weapon.
Yeah. The thing that I hate about the gear or the weapons, I could see about the weapons, I could see about the gear, but not the weapons. The weapons, like you can put different shaders on all of them. And like, I could see you doing that for gear. Like, hey, this is my set. I want to look red and gold, with the new monarchy, but I don't always want to look that way. I like this. I like these arms. So I need these arms again, so I can have it a different color for this. It's like a cosmetic game, and I'm kind of playing that game myself with my Titan. Like that's the end game is your colors and stuff. But the problem is you don't really do that with weapons. Why would I want, a better Devils in red and black, but also in gold and white? Like you just won't do that, I feel like.
Yeah, but even if you do want to do that, like, is it really? I mean, I know there's some people that'll go for it, and it's just not my thing, and I get that. That's fine, but if that's what you're gonna put forth as your draw to come back to your game, something's wrong.
Not super sustainable.
No. And like I said, this all sounds like we're super down. I still love the game, but
yeah, I mean, I want to say like I hope this comes across more as like a critique than it does a complaint. But this kind of conversation centers around the fact that we know, or it seems like, obviously, in a wise business decision, Bungie positions this to appeal more to the masses, and be wildly appealing and not really turn as many people away, try to keep as many people in as possible. But, I often think about like kind of like the Pareto principle, and I try to think that the reason the community is great is because of the X% that speak out the loudest about it. And that's not usually those people. So, I mean, hopefully they do, and they always pretty much have. So I don't want to doubt them now. But, to do something that really gives back to the people who have probably made the community great, the people that are going to do your guided games, those types of things. I don't think we're asking for too much. I don't think any suggestions were outlandish, but even though you want to appeal to 80%, it's still going to be like kind of that 20% that are really going to keep you going in Destiny 2 in year 5, in year 6, that will still be playing your game, no matter what, for the most part.
It's like, since we're such fans, we love the story, we love the community, we love everything about it. We're showing concern. I hope this more we're showing our concern for it and long term.
We want to play your game.
Yeah, it's like we want to jump in there all the time, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked that I do miss is it's not so much the weapon rolls, but like getting the different tier 12 builds. I had like Ishtar Commander up. I had like 8 to 15 things at once. Like, okay, I'm on, I'm using this helmet and, different exotics. I had different like 255. I really like that. And I got excited about armor pieces that were, tier 12 capable. And I'm like, okay, what can I do with it? And I do kind of miss that. That was like a big thing for me.
I miss that too.
I didn't really get into that until towards the end of the D1. Like I never at all like paid attention. I was more about do I look good, more than like do I like move around, jump well, or regen good like better than others.
The real key was looking good and being tier 12. That was like you had it down if you could do both.
Like, that's why I started paying attention to at the end.
That's kind of the point, though, really, Mana. That was one more thing that at the end of the lifespan of the game that you had to do that isn't going to be there now.
Yeah, optimizing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how Data kind of ends his thing, right? He identifies that as like the last chase of D1 for most hardcore grinders. So,
yeah. Well, all that being said, I think, we're all looking forward to October 20th when Bungie does talk about Destiny 2 season. So we'll see what happens at TwitchCon. One last thing on the TWAB, Prestige Mode Raid comes out the same time as Iron Banner, which is like, what? All this stuff, PvE and PvP. Like,
oh boy.
And the main thing that they said about it was there's some mechanical changes, but mainly they wanted a harder sandbox for you to survive in, basically to learn how to exact your strategies, So do you guys have any thoughts about what could be different? Like, are we going to get different gear, you think, too, is another thought? I don't know.
I kind of, once again, hopeful. I hope that there is something new, that you get. If not, maybe just more. Maybe, like, double as much as what you normally get. But honestly, since I'm so bad at the raid right now, I'm kind of intimidated.
Me too. I'm intimidated. Not even kidding.
I'm scared.
Can I complain about something?
Yes.
So this will be a complaint. This is outside the critique section.
No. Okay. It's along the same lines. Actually, well, first I'll say that they said there aren't going to be huge changes, but there's going to be some small stuff. I did find it interesting though that they've said we do not expect everyone to be successful in completing this activity.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, they do oversell things sometimes, like the 0.04% significant auto rifle buff, but the one thing I don't like about this, and this goes towards the no reason to grind type of thing, light stops at 305, right? Or power, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are 305. They flat out said in here, our goal is not to provide a boon to your character progression, but there are unique rewards to help you shine. So it's not like the old like raids where the last, hard mode got you the highest light gear. It got you this.
You don't like that?
No.
Well, I mean, progression to me never as far as light, it never really mattered that much to just bump it up 5 or something like that because it didn't really matter too much like throughout the game anyway. To me, I think like they're giving us more. If there's more stuff to make you shine, like emblems, there's a new shader, there's new guns, or there's new armor that's different. Like that to me is more grindable than light, in my opinion.
But still, it was always like, it's the end game stuff. It gives you the highest light, like, Trials right now gives you, it's the highest PvP like thing. It gives you the highest light stuff. Yeah, this will too, but so does the regular raid. So does the Nightfall.
These conversations, like, I feel like there's tons of people that agree with you because if you go on Reddit, like back whenever Trials first came out and you could get to the highest light by Trials and not just the raid, people were like, this is a PvE game. Like, how can you let Trials people get the highest light? And there's that argument that people would be like, no, it's a PvE game. No, we should be able to get their PvP. And there's this light argument that I think, just personally, it doesn't ultimately matter. Like, it's about the gear and the ways that you show off yourself. And you want to say, like, oh, like, I got, like they said, like, where'd you get that gear? Like, who are you in Destiny? And if you have that prestige raid gear, then that is who you are, that's your legend. And I'd much rather prefer that than, oh, I got max light.
Why can't they have both? Why are we always picking and choosing?
You're right. Like, they could have done both for sure. But to me, I just don't care for that reason.
It's not even like you said, the whole trials. Why can they get to highest light? That is the issue. I think there should be a PvE and a PvP side. But when both your raids are going to drop the same light stuff, I know it's going to be some. I don't know. I just don't like that. You said, oh well, I don't think we need this because we have this. I get it, but like,
I get what you're saying.
Why can't we ever just have both?
My point of view is, I can't get 305 in this because I suck, so I'm going to go do this. That's literally what I did in D1. Like, I'm just like, well, I can only do the raid so many times before I feel like a total letdown to my team. So I'm just going to do trials and no life the crap out of that. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Max life trials. I was that guy that you were actually just talking about. And like, I only jumped into trials after a while to get
right there with you.
And then I know people that don't touch trials and are actually got to higher light or a max light before me by doing raids and stuff like that. So
also interesting to note, because we talked about it when they released Trials and the normal mode raid the same week. They're doing it again with Iron Banner and Prestige mode. Mm-hmm. So it's clearly a conscious decision, like we said before, to have something new for PvE and PvP at the same time.
Which I think is cool. I think it's great.
Yeah. The hard mode raid could be really hard too. That could be like the... we're kind of used to like, okay, you get a little gear, get stronger, and it's not that hard. It could be like... Yeah, because trials is hard for most people, like the majority going flawless or even getting a 3 sometimes, some nights is like hard. So the hard mode raid could be like that answer to the PvE people that are like, give us a challenge. Like if you do just get an emblem, that could be like, oh, snap. Like
guys, like, look at this. Look at this, guys. You see in the top right corner? I did that thing.
To be fair, the Prestige Nightfall's much harder than the regular Nightfall, right? So
yeah, people were talking about the completion rate between like people like right? It was like 6% had done the raid or something like that, and like 0.5% had done the Prestige Nightfall or something. It was like
I still haven't done one of those.
Listen, if the Prestige raid is that hard, I will be all things taken back about light and everything. I just don't see
I've
that
only done the Nightfall twice. I haven't even attempted it.
So what they say, like refine your something about the sandbox.
Refine your strategies or something, right?
Yeah.
That could be like in Callus, the DPS Triton. But like, I mean, you have to make every second count, or
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
tweak
you're right.
everything just a tiny bit to like mix everything up in your head. Just like, well, I was doing this. Like my role in my group was doing this, and now like. Yeah. Crap! I gotta learn something.
They did say they're gonna honor a world's first again too.
Yeah.
Cool. Haven't they done that in the past though? Like they just see how people beat it, and then generally what is hard about it is they try to take away the most commonly used strategy. Is that just like a theory of mine, or is that how they've done hard modes in the past? Sometimes is like whatever you could do or
I'm not sure.
cheese you can't.
Well, I don't know, because originally I guess that's possible, but I don't know if there was enough time to do that in between to design a hard mode raid based on how people beat
how people are beating it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that would make sense.
But the most recent one, I guess it started. Did it start with Oryx or Wrath of the Machine, where they said flat out, we designed hard mode, and then we took things out and called that normal mode.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, I think it was Oryx.
I think it was Oryx. Yeah.
I do remember that.
That would be interesting.
Which I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to.
We made it hard. And then we took things down.
Yeah, instead of finding a way to make it really hard.
I kind of like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Make it as hard as you want, and then take out what you need to get it to the level that you think it should be.
Like removing the hardest elements or something, the biggest hurdles. No, that makes sense.
I'm wondering what these things are going to be. Like, stuff like the bads, like, I'm like, what would they even do to that section?
They'll be completely naked.
That's
so
the
distracting.
That's the prestige.
There's 10 more dogs in the pleasure gardens.
Oh my gosh, no more dogs, please.
There's flying dogs where the jumpers do dodge.
How
crazy would that be?
The bathers won't kill you, so then you can't wipe. They'll just teabag you and hold you down. So then you can't wipe because you can't die. And you're stuck.
There's just the big guys that come out of the baths that like they don't actually attack you. They just have an attack that knocks you off the thing, and they dodge your weapons.
And then they just plop them right down on your face.
Just a little push, like haha, like dodge you. That'd be so annoying.
Man, I really hope there's new stuff for that for them to really show off, because it challenges me. Like, I'm super intimidated by thinking of a harder raid, and if they had like shaders, like new shaders or stuff to show that off, like to really entice you to want to go in there to do it, that'd be pretty rad.
Pretty rad.
What if they don't mix up anything? They just mix up the actual enemies themselves to make them react and move differently. Like
they could.
Maybe they like, in the center hub where you keep on going back to, you have to gather the whatever things and all that. What if like, how like they kind of just scramble, they attack. What if they actually like work with each other to like bully you? Like what if those guys like with shields all group up and lay their shields together for the Scion in the back where you have to go through them to melee? Like how crazy would that be if they perfect that AI?
What if there's 2 Calluses?
Yeah, they've done really smart stuff, like the way Mana's talking. Like I feel like they set up certain encounters for the way that enemies react to really screw you up. Like the Scions in the, I don't know what to call it, the Shadow World, the Suck World. Whenever you're at the Callus part and you get teleported over there, like those Scions, like their attack specifically is to mess you up on that spot. Like they designed that spot, and so I wonder if there's going to be more of that within the prestige mode throughout the raid. If there's stuff like, I could imagine if those guys, if like more Scions or more of the shield bashing guys were at the baths where you're trying to stay on the plate and they're specifically shooting you off the plate, and messing up the countdown or the chains or whatever. Like I could see stuff like that, them specifically designing the enemy attacks to mess you up.
Like you have to look out for those enemies, or else they're going to do that purple that just blasts you 20 feet up in the air.
Another simple one that I think would probably be pretty easy to do, but I think could up the difficulty from a teamwork point of view is like, the Scions on the plates outside of Callus. You call out the 3 you see inside. You have to kill the one that you don't see outside. And they're always in the same damn place. What if those are random?
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
That would be ridiculous. You have to actually look at the symbol.
All it would do is make you look and call out, hey, you have axes over by you. But that could make it really hard. I hope
there's no more thinking involved in that fight. Like, it's just survivability, because there's so much thinking, mental processing already going on.
Inside, you guys, all those guys that actually have to pay attention to the, kill the right Scion and kill the ads and whatnot, I feel like that's the hardest part. Like, the guys on the inside have it bad, while the guys on the outside just need to pay attention to the forehead and kill the Scions,
Yeah.
I call the suck round the upside down.
Oh,
the upside down. I like that.
Good
call.
Upside down.
Anything else on the raid?
I think that's it. Did you have something else about the TWAB you wanted to hit, Hove?
Just quickly, because it was my segue. How we were talking about like any Black Spindle, sleeper simulant type of things. The thing that made me think is that Deej said, as we continue to ride this wave, the game will tell its own continuing story. Your milestones will reveal the mysteries of the weekly resets. We'll plot some more distant milestones right here. There are a few mentioned above to fuel speculation. Destiny is a turbulent landscape that's always changing, so our focus tends to be weekly. Yada, 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 more to talk about. Game will serve up new challenges every time you visit. So it just sounded like he said, we'll plot some more milestones now. Your milestones will reveal the mysteries of the weekly resets. So maybe there's something hidden coming. I don't know.
You just like that girlfriend you had that would just tease you for like
Mindy. Yeah.
Like you love him, but you're like,
are you saying Deej gives you blue balls, Dan?
on Thursdays, yeah.
He's got a time of the week.
That is cool. I didn't pick up.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I'm with you, Hope. Like, I think it could be something. I'm just excited to see like what the seasonal stuff is. That's honestly that, I don't know. I'm like pretty excited for Iron Banner, but the seasonal talk, that's what I'm really excited about. The potential there.
I think it's gonna be a letdown. Potential's there. I don't think the substance will be.
We'll see. We'll see December or December.
Yeah. God, I hope
20th.
we don't have to wait till December. Jeez.
Yeah, I know, right?
I hope not.
We'll have a new DLC before then.
Oh, totally right. If we have to wait until December.
Well, Dan, thanks for coming on the show this week with us, man. We really appreciate you coming out, sharing with us your musical opinions on the game.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, you guys are one of my favorite podcasts, so this is awesome.
Awesome, dude. Thanks so much. Well, this has been Lego, aka Legole Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
Twitter, Twitch, YouTube as well, at Hove76, HOV76. Triton, and can they find you anywhere ever?
Well, they can definitely find me on Twitter, Triton Please, one word. All the please is spelled PLZ. I just, right before this podcast, figured out how to activate and like unlink and relink my Twitch account. So hopefully that happens soon. And I did finish the script, and I'm trying to record that 30 for 30 episode inspired for our REZOcast behind the scenes. Lots of nudes of Hove in this.
I don't know anything about this.
Wow.
Were we supposed? Was I supposed to know about this?
So we were very close. I literally said on the last episode, Hove. It just proves you don't pay attention.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry.
And how about you, Mano?
Well, you can find me on Twitch, mainly Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at the Manigator. Yes, it's actually the Manigator. Like no like dashes, spaces. I know.
He's got his crap together.
I got it. Professional.
Dan, what about you?
Yeah, Twitch and Twitter at DanDrumStone. So it's pretty easy. It's my old PlayStation name that I could never change.
Nice. Yeah, go check out those Twitch Twitch drum streams. They're freaking awesome.
Have an awesome song to request for Dan to play because he will.
Just no rush. No rush.
Well, this has been REZOcast. Well, also, I've done this like the last 2 or 3 episodes, but you can also find REZOcast at REZOcast on Twitter and Team Resolute at Team Resolute or TeamResolute.com. Yeah, we'd love to talk to you, either of those places. This has been episode 54 with Dan. We appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to on iTunes or anything like that, we really appreciate it. You can also find us on YouTube, Google Play, all the places,
all the time, anywhere.
Thank you for listening. Till next time, guys. GG.
GG.
GG's Weekly Read.